Right. Slowly getting more people logging in.
Hey Larry,
Howdy.
I
How
heard
you
you guys.
doing, Emily?
I was talking to Barbara. She told me she was doing the honeysuckle pool with you guys.
Okay.
Spanish Lake. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we do it every month.
How did it go?
Oh, it's great. Yeah,
Good.
it's
Yeah, you
fun.
almost have to do it every month with how much honeysuckle there is out there.
It feels like a losing battle sometimes, but it's so rewarding
Yeah.
seeing a nice, good clearing.
I just discovered some popping up in my yard that I have not seen before, so it's kind of a new. I haven't noticed it before, at least.
Yeah, I am surrounded. I wish my neighbors would get on board. Like,
Yeah.
sorry for trespassing.
It's hard to keep it in control.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
I
a
mean,
local artist that makes some like, if we just think of ways to use that people want to use it and cut it down more. I know there's this local artist and I can't remember his name right now, but he makes art and like furniture out of honeysuckle and it looks really cool. I know one of our volunteers, Carl, he makes all of our tree cookies for camp out of them too, so that works.
yeah, almost always at my honeysuckle hacks.
Yeah. I would love to know how many honeysuckle plants you've eradicated in your life, Larry.
A fair few. G'day, Tom.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Tom's another honeysuckle hacker.
I just follow your lead, buddy.
That can be dangerous.
Well, I wasn't going to go there. There we are.
And I guess while we're waiting for folks, if you want to just drop in the chat, maybe your name and if you're a new or returning volunteer. So it looks like we've got some new faces this year.
Yeah, we had quite a few new people sign up, so definitely going to be a fun season.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome, Gigi.
And Nancy, awesome.
Hey,
This is a record for new volunteers this year. I love it.
Yeah, I think a lot of them we had met at the Missouri Master Naturalist meet and greet.
Yeah, or the tour.
Mm-hmm. Jane Reed. Awesome.
Got too many buttons to hit on this thing now.
Like mission control, right?
Yeah. How are you, Emily?
Doing good, Tom. How are you?
I'm all right.
You ready to build some fires this winter?
Bought some extra matches last week, as a matter of fact.
Jonah and I, there's a huge pile of all this dry wood from last year's eagle nest, and we thought there was going to be a prescribed burn. Was that yesterday or the day? Yeah, yesterday. So Jonah and I moved all of this nice wood kind of over towards the fireplace. So we're gonna have hopefully a good supply of wood this year for our fires.
Great.
Excellent.
Hey Barb, good to see you.
Hey.
There have been times when we've had to wander around and scrounge for firewood. We're trying to get the fire going.
It's hard when
That's
there's
how
so
we keep
little
our
trees.
grounds clear. That's how we keep the trails clean, is we just have you guys collect firewood.
Have you seen the not all who wander are lost? Some of us are just looking for firewood.
That's great.
I saw Kathleen's comment about hating cold weather, so we'll have to have Kathleen do something inside.
That's the beauty of Riverlands is you get to see and observe all the outdoor wonders, but you can do it from the heat of our building if you're not
Yeah.
wanting to brave the outdoors.
Craft station's always good for that one. Nice and cozy inside with a good view.
It's a beautiful building.
I love it.
Okay, well, I will go ahead and get the presentation pulled up here.
And Anna, I'm not sure, do you want to record this?
Yes, I can do that. And then we will put this up to share with others. So we'll probably put it on the website, maybe in the spreadsheet as well. Is everybody able to see the first slide right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the thumbs ups. I appreciate those. All right. So yeah, you think we're good to go, Emily? Go ahead and get started.
Yeah,
or-
we're ready. Let's rock it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, welcoming our newcomers. Looks like we had some of you drop into the chat. If you're still just getting into the Zoom, if you want to introduce yourself in the chat, let us know, how you came to find out about our Birds of Winter programs, if you were master naturalists or how else we may have met you, then that would be great. And as far as our winter events, we're going to be covering those here in just a moment. We have our Birds of Winter series, which we will have starts with Eagle Ice Festival on January 4. And then we will have Eagle Saturdays, self-guided Sundays. And we also have Bows for Birds, which kicks off, isn't that tomorrow? That's tomorrow.
Saturday.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow's Friday. So Saturday kicks off Bows for Birds. So we'll go over that, how to sign up for shifts, tracking, all that good fun.
All right, I can jump in here and just introduce some of our staff. So if you are a new volunteer this year, we just wanted to kind of share who you can see around the building and also the fellow volunteers in this group right now too. Just so you have an idea of who is going to be around. So you can see like Anna, who you guys met. She's our volunteer coordinator and senior center assistant. And then Jonah is also on the call. Jonah, if you can raise your hand there. And then myself, Emily. Jonah and I are on the education team. So if you are looking to volunteer and do specifically education programming, stuff that we're mostly working with kids, we're going to be kind of the ones that work with you and you'll see often. And then, you're also going to probably see some of our conservation staff like Tara and August, if you are interested in volunteering down the road more with like nest box monitoring or roost watch monitoring, you might be working with them. And then Ken is our center director. And then we also have John McGrath, who covers covers the center on the weekends, who you might see this Birds of Winter. And then especially for our newcomers, we're going to just kind of give an overview of the Audubon Center of Riverlands and the Riverlands Migratory Bird Sanctuary. And, oftentimes if you are working a weekend as general assistants or just working with the public, they might ask you some questions about the center. So this will be kind of a nice overview for you. And so it sounds like a lot of you guys have been to the center or the sanctuary, but what's really cool is the sanctuary is managed and operated by the Army Corps of Engineers. It says that they own the land, but really it's public land, so we all own it. And it's about 4,000 acres, technically 3,700. What's awesome is we've got a lot of hiking trails, some that are paved and accessible, some that are kind of more natural through grassy areas or mulched areas. And there's just a wide array of a big diversity of different habitats. You're going to see a lot of prairie and a lot of wetland habitat, but we also have forested areas and marshland and, of course, our major rivers. And what's really cool is if you look at Riverlands globally, it's recognized as an important bird area. So it's a big birding hotspot in the St. Louis region. So a lot of people come to our area to view birds. So I'll kind of give you an overview of, you can go to the next slide of our map. And
Yes.
so,
There
yeah,
we
do you
go.
want to, thank you.
Yeah, so we do have these maps available at the center. There's a stack of them at the front desk too. So if you want to go over this with guests, you can see where the Audubon Center is right off of Ellis Bay. We have, several hiking trails that go down by the water over to our overlook. Of course, there's Teal Pond and Heron Pond. The trails that are across from the center off Riverlands Way, those do get closed during sanctuary season. So that's something that's important to notate with visitors, especially this time of year. Ellis Bay also gets closed during sanctuary season. So that's from October through April. And then once that reopens, then of course people can get out and kayak and things on the bay. And we will have some of those programs this summer if anybody is interested in joining in for our wellness series. Ellis Island is another fantastic hike, and that one is open all year long. So it's a good one to suggest for guests. They would just turn back out towards the highway and then follow that little service road over to the parking at Ellis. If they were to continue down Riverlands Way, another popular destination is the Confluence State Park. So we like to point people that direction. Sometimes during storms and things like that, that road does get washed out. So it's important to note whether it is open or closed. And we try to make note of that at the front desk too. So you're always welcome to check in on that, or the gate itself. Sometimes you'll just see if you're driving around whether it's open or closed. Let's see. There's also the National Great Rivers Museum at the Lock and Dam. And they do tours there at 10, 1, and 3 daily. So that's another great suggestion. If we have visitors that are just in the area for the first time, maybe they haven't done that tour before, or they're from out of town, then it's kind of a really neat engineering marvel. And there are some nests over on the Illinois side too. So, definitely let them know where to see those eagle nests right over there in Alton near the warehouses and then across from the museum. So there's a nice photo of the gallery. And so just here, it's our Audubon Center at Riverlands. Our mission at Riverlands is to connect people to the beauty and significance of the Mississippi River and the Great Rivers confluence, to inspire conservation of the river's rich diversity in birds, wildlife, and other natural resources, and to support healthy, vibrant communities. Good to keep that goal in mind. All right. And then Audubon volunteer values. We do have this notated in our handbook, which if you do our volunteer application online, then we typically send you that handbook. We are going to be working on updating that, making it a little bit more modern and getting it more accessible. But just a reminder to avoid controversial, impassioned discussions, especially things like politics and religion whenever you're with visitors. A good distraction is, oh, look, a bird. So if you can't kindly and easily get out of the conversation, certainly let appropriate staff nearby know, and we'll do our best to help you out of that and hopefully have a peaceful conversation. All right. More info on the center at Riverlands. It was open in the fall of 2011. It looks like we have about 40,000 visitors each year. And let's see, just more of our goals, connecting and protecting with education and conservation. So some of the programs are River Vision leadership projects. We also do field trips and tours, public programs, and all sorts of outreach programs. Conservation initiatives, that's mostly like the things that she mentioned that Tara and August will be assisting with, like avian monitoring, habitat restoration, and Climate Watch.
And I just want to flag here, if you see the photo here, this is Dwight, who has been at Riverlands longer than any of the staff or other volunteers. He's actually been volunteering at Riverlands since 2011, since it opened. And if you come out to Birds of Winter, he will be there every day, running our education tables. If you are interested in doing education, volunteering, I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit, but that's just a photo of kind of what you would typically see during Birds of Winter, interacting with the public with interpretive materials, feathers, skulls, what have you.
Okay, and then getting down to the scheduling of Birds of Winter. As we said at the beginning, the first big event is Eagle Ice Fest, which will be on January 4th. And then we will be alternating. We'll have Eagle Saturdays, self-guided Sundays. We do plan on doing a Roost Watch on January 4th. That'll take place after Eagle Ice Fest. Some other events that coincide with Birds of Winter, we'll have the Bows for Birds program that's kicking off this Saturday. That goes through February, and we'll announce those winners during the Great Backyard Bird Count training. So we'll do that training will be on February 7th. And we also have Eagle Days with MDC on February 8th. So that will be another heavy attendance day where we're going to need a lot of help. Okay, so Eagle Ice Fest, the shifts for that day are going to start at 9 a.m. and go through 2 p.m. We do have some 1-hour shifts. Most of them are 2-hour shifts, but that'll include event setup, a registration table. We'll have general assistance, just sort of like helping out with scopes and things like that throughout the center. Education tables, Dwight will be leading those, but we are hoping to get more people to assist with those programs and kind of train for the education tabling. We'll have bird viewing stations. Again, those scopes that are usually by our windows, depending on weather, we might move some of those outside as well. We have plan on having a DIY craft table and maybe have some leaders there guiding some crafts, and fire building and s'mores outside. And then we usually love to have some of our talented photographers along to kind of just capture the day and have some photos to share for everybody having fun. Okay, and then the other Birds of Winter duties. Oh, I just got a warning that my meeting is going to end. Any clues on how to increase the timing on that, Emily?
What I can do is, while you're talking, I'm gonna make a new Zoom link and we can post it in the chat, because I'm not sure why it's limiting it for you to 20.
Yeah.
But I'll make a new
Okay.
one. So
Okay.
once I get that posted, we're just gonna migrate over to another Zoom room. And I apologize, folks, but this is how Zoom goes typically. But I'll make a new one. I'll post it.
So Birds of Winter duties, again, for the Saturdays and Sundays, we're going to be doing more event setup, registration tables. The Sunday events, though, with those being self-guided, we're just going to have some general assistance shifts and then education table assistance as well. So the Sundays are definitely a lighter load. It's going to be way more low key, but we do expect to have more visitors into the center with our swans and eagles that are making their way in.
Okay, we are now recording, just to give everybody a heads up.
Thank you, Emily.
So as Anna's pulling that up, I'll just mention for Birds of Winter, every Saturday we've got an event going on. And we are really looking to boost free opportunities for visitors when they come. So at noon on every Eagle Saturday, we have some type of free activity that we're going to be doing at our craft table. So that might be like a DIY bird feeder, or we might be making gourd bird houses, or it could be making paper airplanes that are biomimicry based off of different bird species. So I wanted to throw that in there as an example while Anna got that pulled up.
And Emily, I'm sharing the screen, so when
Cool.
we switch.
Yeah, thank you guys. So one skill, one thing that we always need help with is greeting the visitors. During Birds of Winter on Saturdays, we could get, between 200 to 600 people showing up and during one day at Riverlands. So it can get quite busy. And one of the important roles is greeting visitors when they come. I think a big, big goal for us at Riverlands is to make sure that people know that everybody is welcome.
Not as far
So
as
we
I
want
know.
it to be a welcoming place for all.
I didn't
And
let
one
her
of
in.
those is the registration tables. So you can see here, we actually are based outside. So if you sign up for a reservation table, you will be outside. We have a giant bucket of hot hands and hand warmers for our volunteers and all of that good stuff. And you get to take regular breaks. So if on an especially cold day, if let's say it's like St. Louis, who knows? It could be like 5 degrees outside. We would probably move indoors on that day. But just to give you a heads up, and really the goal is to greet folks, let them know what are the activities available for the day. So we would let them know, hey, we've got Bald Eagle presentations inside. If you'd like to sign up, we can get you tickets, or if you've already signed up, let's get you checked in. We also will let them know, hey, you can go outside to our fire pit, have a nice s'more, or do a guided bird hike with us. We also, for the we, depending on what the program is, there might be a waiver, but more than likely there will not be a waiver required for them to be signed unless it's a pre-registered event. And also you could help just with nature store sales. So all of the proceeds that we receive in the wintertime go directly to our education and conservation efforts at Riverlands as a non-for-profit. It's a really great resource for us to continue the work that we do. And just the value of having volunteers help us run it is just I can't even express how valuable you guys are to us. Yeah, and Valerie, so the waivers will not be required for our hikes or our bald eagle presentations, but one thing could be a photo release. So if there's a particular class where we wanted to take photos to promote, we might have a paper waiver for them that time. But it's actually a simpler process this year. All right. Now I want to tell you guys about like the coolest, the best program all winter long. It's called Bows for Birds. And this is actually our 5th year doing this program. So imagine, a scavenger hunt. Maybe you did one growing up where you travel all across the area. And we have this St. Louis region-wide bird-themed scavenger hunt. So we have 12 participating parks. Some are out in West County. We have North County, St. Louis City, kind of all over. And essentially, there is a map with a clue. And what we're asking folks is to go out to those parks, crack the clue, be a sleuth, and go find this tree that has a bow and this kind of little sheet with information about a mystery bird. Now there's this mystery bird hidden somewhere in the area. It's a wooden painted bird. And if they can identify that bird correctly, they get entered into a raffle to win some really cool prizes. We have a 3-night stay on the Current River. We've got a stay at Pier Marquette. We've got Vortex binoculars, a lot of really great prizes. And again, it's completely free to participate. One thing that we are asking of volunteers, if you happen to live near one of those locations, if you could go out weekly or bi-weekly to check in on that spot to first make sure our bird didn't migrate away. Maybe there were some teenagers that were playing with it. Also, just making sure that our clues are still there and everything looks good.
If your dog follows you
And
around petting them,
so
that's their way
we
of
can,
petting
I'm
you
just
back,
gonna,
laying
I'm
their
getting some
paws.
feedback here. There we go. Okay. So that's just a really easy task, I think, to get a volunteer hour once a week or every other week. And you also get to go to a new park. And if it's something that's near your house, it's hopefully accessible to you. Some of our trails, some of our sites are going to be wheelchair accessible and all that good stuff. So we really want this to be something that anybody can do. And so you guys just being able to go check on those is so important to us because we just don't have the capacity to once a week drive out to 12 different locations to check on them. So this is more economic and environmentally friendly as well. And then Anna just posted in the chat, there's a sign up page for Bo's location. So if you're wondering where are these parks, you can check that out there. And you're also welcome to participate too. You just might, I won't tell you what the species is if you want to participate, but if you also have questions, I'm happy to share some information with you. I know Barbara is ahead of the game. Before we even told her, she already found one of the birds that we installed like last week at Laumeier State Park or Laumeier Sculpture Park. So you might see him when you're out.
Yeah. So Bonnie and I are monitoring that bird. That's my
Yep.
dog. That's my dog.
Yep, for most of the parks, dogs will also be allowed. Also, if you happen to be an artist and you want to paint, we are always looking every year for volunteers to help us paint these wooden mystery birds. So you can see an example. There's a dark-eyed junco there. Here were some of the prizes we had in the past in some of the parks. So we can keep going. That was from last year though. And then if you click on that link, you're going to see some of the locations and you can sign up there. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jonah now, who is going to tell us about Roost Watch. So let's say you're here because you are a bird nerd, you want to contribute to science and data. This is the job for you. Jonah, what do you got for us?
All right. So after Eagle Ice Fest on January 4th, we'll be hosting our one of our yearly Roost Watch events where we basically keep the center open after hours. So this volunteer slots from 3:30 to 5:30. That 3:30 slots kind of help to transition over from Eagle Ice Fest to the Roost Watch. But what it really entails is showing guests and talking to guests about some of our birds that come into roost here at Riverlands, including the trumpeter swans. We do have short-eared owls around this year. We've got one or two out there. Hopefully some more will be coming down with the cold weather. We've got gulls, we've got ducks, and one of the cool things you can see at Riverlands is in the evening, right as the sun's about to set, a bunch of these birds all start to congregate on Ellis Bay or in our prairie. So you can see some really cool spectacles of birds as the sun sets. So these volunteer shifts are just to either, we'll have the center open, so we'll have some viewing opportunities. You'd be kind of just going around talking to guests about the different birds that are coming into the bay. I'm talking about trumpeter swans, etc. We'll also have some warm beverages available, like hot chocolate, coffee, and tea. So we'll have like a floater kind of around, make sure those are being filled. And depending on what the year's looking like, we might have, and the weather, we might have a few folks stationed around the sanctuary at good viewing locations, depending on where the short-eared owls might be this year, and or if we know that the trumpeter swans like to come into Teal Pond in the evening, we might put someone over at Teal Pond. So it's a really kind of a short event, but it's just an opportunity to show folks Riverlands in the evening. And with that, we're going to be sort of with that, we're going to be offering a new opportunity this year for some of our newer volunteers. Every other Tuesday during the winter, we do a trumpeter swan count. It's a community science project that we do where we show up bright and early in the morning and we count how many trumpeter swans are around the sanctuary. I know a few volunteers from this year are on this call right now. But we do those, and we've got kind of a steady stable of volunteers who've been doing these for years or have just started. And it only really takes about 10 to 12 volunteers to conduct these surveys. But we wanted to make sure we want to offer it and show this awesome opportunity to all of our volunteers. So on January 14th, just as the sun is rising at around 7 a.m., I believe. I might be off a little bit on the time. But around 10 minutes before sunrise, we're going to invite all of you all, if you want to have the opportunity to experience and learn about these trumpeter swan counts, myself and August will be there to kind of help guide you through what a trumpeter swan count looks like, while the rest of our volunteers are out doing some of the counting as well. And then following the actual count, we'll go back to the center, we'll warm up, we'll have some hot chocolate, some tea, and some coffee. And August will talk about what our trumpeter swan count data tells us, why we do it, how you can get involved in the future. So it's an opportunity for you all to get involved, learn a little bit more about trumpeter swan, dip your toes in it, and then see if that's something you want to do in the following years. And one of the things that you could see Bill Rowe here using is a spotting scope. At the sanctuary, we're blessed to have 4 spotting scopes that we can use to show participants different ducks and waterfowl and swans and things that are farther away, especially our eagles in the eagle tree. So some proper etiquette for those is usually it's great to have a volunteer around those scopes. It's an adjustment for folks using a scope for the first time. Sometimes when you put your eye up to the eyepiece, all you see is black, or they end up aiming the scope up to the sky and all they see is sky. So it's good to have volunteers around to kind of help participants learn how to use these spotting scopes. So there's different parts to the scope itself that you need to kind of be familiar with, such as the eyepiece. This is where you put your eye. I usually tell people, act like you're winking, and whichever eye you have open, put that up to the eyepiece until you see one image. There is a zoom, which is this little knob right here. Most of ours are from 20 times zoom to 60 times zoom. So that will zoom in the image. With that zoom comes distortion. So if you go to 60, that image is going to be more distorted than if you were just at 20. So I like to keep it usually around that 20 to 30 zoom, just so it's a clear image. And most of what we're going to be seeing aren't going to be super far away, that you need to use the 60 times zoom. And then this focus, this knob right here, you turn that to the right or to the left, and that helps create a clear image. I will say, depending on your eyesight, that's what you're looking at in the scope you might have to have them adjust it for their focus. Your eyes are different than everybody else's eyes, so that focus is an important thing to tell participants about. They don't really need to know too much about the zoom or the eyepiece, but you should kind of point out that this focus, if the image they're looking at is blurry, show them that they can adjust it, moving it to the right or the left. And we will show you, it's hard to do it here. There are, on tripods, we also have stools for kids that they can head up. So when you come in and you want a lesson on how to use the tripod or the scope, let one of us know and we can show you. It's kind of easier to demonstrate some of these pieces, like the tilt and the pan, if you're actually practicing using it. And in terms of identification, my goal for you all, if you are coming out and showing people birds, is to get them excited about ducks. We have a great kind of printable handout with all the different kinds of ducks you can see at Riverlands. On any given Eagle Saturday, there might be 20 species of ducks around. They're going to be the most common bird you can show participants. So even if you don't like ducks, aren't your favorite, try to get everybody else excited about the ducks, as you've got a good variety of ducks to show people. And then some of our more iconic, what people are coming out to see are our trumpeter and tundra swans. Trumpeter swans is the one on my right here. You can see how the black bill connects to the eye, kind of like how it blends together. That is one of the key field marks. I also usually this kind of, rusty yellow wash to their head is another good field mark. They're also bigger, and they sound like a middle schooler trying to play a trumpet for the first time. That's a good joke you can use with them as well to get a good laugh. Their smaller cousin, the tundra swan, it's hard to see in this picture, but they usually have a little bit of yellow between their eye and their nose or their bill. They also give off kind of a beady-eyed look, where their eye kind of looks separate from the bill, unlike the trumpeter swans here. They say whoop, 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 like they're celebrating. So that's a way to point out. We usually have a lot fewer tundra swans around than trumpeter swans. We usually have a few around as well. And we've got we've got some good guides to show the difference between the two as well. But most of the big white birds you'll see out in the bay are going to be those trumpeter swans. Some of our more iconic birds are our raptors. Our bald eagles, of course, are going to be our main draw for a lot of participants. A fun activity to do with youngsters or to get people talking is to have them age the bald eagle. Based on what they're seeing, we've got a nice little printable that goes through how to age bald eagles based on basically Cavendish browns. One over here on the left is probably a first winter bird. So retaining all of its brown plumage, brown head. That's a young bird. Not a golden eagle, unfortunately. It's just a young bald eagle, which you'll probably find yourself saying a lot this year. This one right here has got some white coming in on its head, a lot of white feathers kind of on its body. This is probably a second or third winter bird, just based on how it's transitioning. And then the one on the right is that adult bald eagle with the classic white head, white tail. So that's a fun way conversation piece is if you see different ages out there in our eagle trees, talk them through what they're looking at. Our short-eared owls are always popular as well. If you come out to roost watch, this is one species we'll be looking for. They like to hunt out in our prairies behind the center. We have at least one or two around this year. It's not as big of a year as last year so far, but we do have and they're a great one to show people. And if we were there in the evening and we know that they're out, we might turn some of the scopes to them as well. But you look for that round owl face. They are the night shift to our northern harrier daytime shift. These harriers are long-winged raptors. They hunt in the same habitat as the short-eared owls. What you're looking for is this white rump. You'll see it as they fly. They're usually not flapping their wings a whole lot. They're kind of gliding over the prairie. You see a white flash, a little rump patch right there. That's a harrier. And then our kestrels are cute and adorable, and our smallest falcon, you'll often see them hovering over the prairie. So usually if you see a bird hovering straight up in the air and they're pretty tiny, that's going to be one of our kestrels. And you can see they've got the little black eyeliner down here, and they've got a little blue on the head, and you can tell the difference. The males are going to have blue on the back and wings. Females are going to have an all brown back. So these are some more of our iconic birds that people might be asking about. People ask where you can find short-eared owls. Tell them the best time to come is either early in the morning as the sun's starting to rise or just like an hour before sunset. That's the facts for you today. I'm going to turn over to Anna, I believe.
Okay, so you guys, it's awesome to see so many new volunteers on our call, and welcome back our return volunteers. Thank you guys all for being here. So we do have the volunteer application online, which I'm sure most of you have already filled out. If you do want to see that handbook as well, if you didn't get that in my initial email to you, then you're welcome to reach out and I'd be happy to send that to you. Unfortunately, the type of document, it's best shared via email versus like a shared link. So I am working on that. But we are asking to, if you invite friends, other master naturalists, other people that are interested in volunteering, that you go ahead and send them to our website, which is riverlands.audubon.org. If they select the tab for get involved and then volunteering, then that application can be found on there. And that way we just have all of their contact information, we have their interests, and then just from like a liability standpoint, it's best if we know who's on the grounds and what they're volunteering for, and where they're logging their hours and things like that. So we appreciate you guys going through that process. And then also for signing up for events and logging your hours, those can also be found on our website. And we do have the links on here on the presentation. So, and I shared the one for volunteering. It looks like Emily just dropped one in the chats too. So we do have volunteer spreadsheet. And each event has its own tab at the bottom. So we have reminders in yellow saying, to make sure that you check the tabs below to cruise through the different events and see what shifts are available. And then for logging hours, we have another form, which is also on that volunteer page. So whether you're volunteering, as a master naturalist or through another program, we do request that you log your hours with us too, just so that we have that data. And again, that sheet can be found on that volunteer page through our website, the link that Emily just shared. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
and I was wondering
the,
if it might be helpful if we actually go to the web page online to show how
yeah,
you can kind of click through the tabs. Because I know I would start with the
yeah.
volunteer sign up sheet. And again, that link I just dropped, if you go to our website under volunteering, there's a link to sign up here, and it's going to take you directly to this page. I'm sorry, I just wanted to point that out, Anna, and you're welcome to talk through it.
Oh yeah, of course. So what Jonah is showing you guys right now, the sign up sheets are all through Google Sheets. So we just ask that you put your name under whichever shift it is that you want to take. So you can see right now at the bottom, there's a tab that's highlighted for Eagle Ice Fest. So January 4th, Eagle Ice Fest. And then you could see all of those shifts that are available, starting with the setup from 9 to 10. And then we have a few different shifts for the registration, general assistance. Of course, you can see Dwight is in there for his education table on each date. So yeah, feel free to take a look through there. We have the self-guided Sundays, everything's sorted by date also. So we have the bows for birds in the front desk at the beginning, and then everything else is broken out by date. So yeah, if you can click on a self-guided Sunday too, I just wanted to show them that, that's a lighter load. So we're going to do general assistance 2-hour shifts starting at 9. So we'll have 9 to 11, 11 to 1, and 1 to 3. So if you want just kind of like a low key Sunday fun day hang out at the center, then those are going to be really nice. Dwight will be there tabling, doing his education spiel, which is really great. We'll have our artist in residency, Alana Tibbetts, coming in for a few days to do a poetry demonstration, which should be really neat. And then we'll also have some vendors on site too. So we'll have some local vendors there on Saturdays and Sundays. It looks like the Bows for Birds is filling in. So thank you guys so much for helping out with those locations, especially those ones that are a little further out. It's awesome to see. Log hours for Bows for Birds. Yeah, logging hours for Bows for Birds. You'll go to the same form on the volunteer sheet. But yeah, it's a little bit different as far as like calculating your hours. I think there's one. Yeah. You see it up there at the top, Bows for Birds.
And I would say for
Perfect.
calculating your hours, I would count, for me, I would count the travel time to get to the park and to
Yes.
walk out to the site and then
Right.
returning
And
back.
I'll also add like not only for Bows for Birds, because Bows for Birds, that volunteer shift is mostly driving. I mean, you're maybe there to check on the bird, socialize with a few people that are there doing the scavenger hunt, if you're lucky, and then driving home. So that one is mostly drive time. I'll also add that if you live further out from Riverlands, because we are sort of far out for a lot of people. So if you want to add those hours of drive time to your log time, either with us or with Master Naturalist, then that's totally fine by us if you include your drive time. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we've covered the sheets. And then Emily, if you want to cover the education activities.
Yes, thank you. Well, if anybody do I have any education volunteers in the house tonight? If you're
Yeah,
into
probably me, Nancy.
Nancy, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
retired science, sixth grade science teacher, retired.
I love
So-
that.
Fabulous.
We're glad you're here. And anybody else, like if you feel like that's something that you want to do, I understand it's like a little bit different than signing up um to do like a registration table because we have programming and kind of curriculum and materials involved with doing some of these activities. So, with that, I think that it's important as an education volunteer to be open-minded, to be a good listener to the community members. Not everybody who comes up to your table is going to be a bird expert, and they might just really want to talk to you about chickens, and that might be the case for the day. And that's okay. And so having enthusiasm and being kind of flexible at a table is great. And I would love to work with you to kind of to get you onboarded to some of the curriculum we like to teach and information about the birds. And that is something that probably would be better to do outside of this training. So if there are folks here that are like, hey, I want to do education tables or maybe even help with field trips and other
Oh, yeah.
programs at Riverlands, then I would love to work with you. If you could email me as an education volunteer. I'll drop my email in the chat as well. Um, but if you could email me and say, hey, I want to volunteer through education with you guys. I was thinking about maybe doing like an individual training where maybe we could set up a day where you're shadowing for the day and we're walking through it together during Birds of Winter. Or if you even wanted to come out to the center next week where I can kind of show you a lot of the materials, walk through it with you, and do a mini kind of one-on-one training, we would love to do that as well. So if you just reach out to me, we're going to get connected and we'll get you guys onboarded so that you feel comfortable running those types of volunteer shifts. All right. Okay, I'll turn it back over to Anna.
Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. It's awesome to continue growing our flock of volunteers. We really look forward to having everybody at Riverlands this winter and just connecting with our guests and the community and spending time in nature and with one another. So we really appreciate your time this evening. And, again, if you have any questions at all, you're always welcome to call the center. You can reach me by email. It's just anna.adams@audubon.org. Emily also, I think, dropped hers in the comments, so I will do the same. And do we have any questions while we're all on together?
I believe the next slide might actually, there we go. Perfect.
Oh yeah, that has all of it.
I have one small question. I am a teacher and an advocate. I've done a lot of training. I also do a lot of press releases for events, and I always get press to interview me. And I also am a writer, like blogs, articles that you want to promote for fundraising. And I saw fundraising as something we can help with. And I've organized and run a lot of big fundraisers. So if that's something, a niche thing that you're still looking for in any of those capacities besides the teaching, that would be something that I would be very interested in helping other people or joining a team or even leading should you need it. And I'm sorry I jumped in.
No, that's totally fine, Sam. And we love any unique skills that you want to bring to the table. And so actually, Sam, if you want to just email me with some of the things you might be interested in helping out with, we would definitely love help with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely
definitely.
publicizing, getting our events out there. That's something we could always use help with. If you guys do use Facebook or Instagram, find us on there. Be sure to share these events with your friends and family, especially with the holidays coming up, doing some experience gifts for the kids in your life and, just the nature lovers and stuff. If you want to encourage them to come out and spend some time at the center, it's really nice that we'll have every weekend, January and those first 2 weekends of February, there's going to be things going on. So we appreciate anything that you guys can do to help us spread the word. And Sam, we certainly look forward to working with you on getting some publications out. And the idea of working on some fundraising is really exciting too. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I also wanted to share some resources that we have and you can see my cat. This is actually a cat I rescued from Riverlands. Sometimes we get strays. So you might find one while you're out this winter. Hopefully not. But just some resources that we have for volunteers. We really appreciate what you guys do for us. And so I forgot to mention on the weekends, we have a break room for our volunteers where we have tea, coffee, snacks. Sometimes we even have lunch. We have lots of stuff available to you, and our staff are always willing to jump in to give you a break. Hot hands are also going to be there, blankets, whatever you need. We've got a lot of stuff for you. And for especially for those big events like Eagle Ice Festival and Eagle Days with MDC, we provide lunch to our volunteers for those days, and there's always going to be food and snacks around to keep you energized and fueled for the day because it gets cold outside. So I just wanted to also add that in there. So just so you guys are aware. And as a volunteer, you also get 10% off at our nature store if you want to get a cool beanie for the winter, have some Audubon swag on it, stuff like that. It looks like we have a question. Once we enter our schedules, do we get a copy of the shifts? Anna, you want to take that?
Yeah, so if you've already done your volunteer application, Gigi, then we will go ahead and drop a link for the sign up sheet that we showed you. So I will go ahead and put that in the comments again. And
But we don't necessarily like send you a copy of the shifts. It's kind of like when you sign up, you know you're coming, you're going to show up on this day. But a lot of
yes.
times leading up to an event, especially like let's say you're doing the craft table, we might reach out to you and say, "Hey, we're looking forward to seeing you this Saturday. The craft this weekend is going to be XYZ. You can arrive at this time." Just to give you a little bit more information. But typically when you sign up on the Google Sheets, that's kind of your carbon copy of that you are coming that day. And Anna is working to get a new volunteer software up that's going to be
I was
more
really
for
hoping to be able to present it to you guys all tonight, but we literally just had the contract signed yesterday. So I won't have it all set up and ready to go for Birds of Winter, but as soon as I do have it, I'll be sending it your guys' way so you can get your profile set up. And hopefully we'll have it in time for the nest box training, which is really exciting. It's a great opportunity. And then come spring, we'll be getting all of our gardeners back to the center and doing some beautification around the grounds. So there's a lot to look forward to, and we're growing the program, and we appreciate you guys, all your help in growing with us. It's been a lot of fun. Do you guys have anything else to add? Any other questions? Gigi, were you able to get into that sheet okay?
Yes, I was. So now that I've put my name in those sheets, it's just saved automatically. Is that right?
Yeah. Awesome. So thanks for signing up and registering. We look forward to hanging out in person and having you at the center.
and I'm getting lots of emails rolling in. You guys are overachievers. I'm loving it. Thank you. All right. Well, if you guys do have more questions, you always reach out to us, email us. We are really looking forward to this winter. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I'll be around too this weekend. So if you guys have questions this weekend, if you're like stuck in the spreadsheet or something, just feel free to give me a call at the center. I'll be happy to answer any questions. And just thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to spend with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you
Bye,
all
y'all.
soon.
See you soon.
Thank you.